our next episode. Is this 79 or 80? Something like that.
79.
79. Welcome to episode 79 of One Cardinal, One Cub, and One Beard. The only YouTube channel that you will find JJ and I on.
That's right.
I mean,
We're
probably
loyal.
been looking all your life. Where are these two fellows? You found us. Here we are. Do want to remind you to like us on Facebook because we are lonely. You can contact us through one card, one cup, one beer at gmail.com because we are lonely. If you'd like to support us through Patreon, go to patreon.com, search one cardinal, one cup, and one beer. And you can support us for $3, $5, or $10 a month. And all of your support is greatly appreciated because we are lonely. If you'd like to be a contestant in one of our trivia contests, a guest on a panel, a guest on a panel brouhaha, we've renamed it in honor of One Beer. Or if you have an interesting baseball story or anecdote or connection to the game that you think that would make a great interview, drop us an email, send us a DM, put a comment on the YouTube channel or whatever platform you may be listening on. Let us know, hey, I think I'd be a pretty cool guest. And we would appreciate that because we are lonely. JJ, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good, Vince. I'm telling you what, sad news today. I know we're going to talk about it later, but Whitey Herzog, a lot of people sent me messages about the passing of Whitey. It's not a surprise. He was 92 years old, opening day. You know, when the old timers, they're not even walking anymore and they're out in the golf cart, you kind of know maybe time's getting near, but still you hate to see Whitey gone. I hate to start the show off such a sad note, but I love Whitey and I have nothing but great memories of him. And he was great for baseball, for Kansas City, for St. Louis, and that's how I kind of remember him.
Yeah, like you said, we'll get into this a little bit later. But it is, especially for people in St. Louis, it's kind of a melancholy feeling about the in the sports scene. And like I said, like you said, we'll get into that as we finish off the show. Um, I do want to put a little levity into this. I am wearing my City of
Oh,
Rockford Peaches, the jersey from A League of Their Own.
yes.
And in honor of that, I have live,
Rockford's own.
Rockford's own Cheap Trick at Budokan, the
Yes.
album that put them on the map.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
and I have it on vinyl. It's in pristine
It is
condition.
in great shape. Looks like you just bought it in the 1970s right there.
And I'll show you what's really cool. The 10-page booklet. Remember when you get albums and they had stuff like
Oh,
this?
posters and stuff. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
posters, and
Oh,
there's the
yeah.
band. And what I really like about this is, let me find it. Let me find it. Now, even though Cheap Trick is from Rockford, Illinois, in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame,
Elmer Fudd.
yeah, at Budokan was recorded in Japan, where they had a huge following, and they have the lyrics
Oh,
in
yeah.
Japanese characters, which is pretty cool. So
That
anyway,
crowd on that album, I had it on first bought it on 8-track. I think I had it in every incarnation. CD, 8-track, cassette, and album. Uh, I love the enthusiasm of the crowd singing along with the songs. And it's just electric. And my friend who was in Marines went to Budokan to see. I got to see this historical spot. And he said, it's just a little, it's not that big at all. But they made it famous. That's forever will go down live at Budokan.
have you ever heard the studio recording of "I Want You to Want Me"?
No, I've only heard the live version.
It almost sounds like lounge music. They have a little piano going. You know,
I'll be
it's
darned.
nothing like the live version. In fact, they were embarrassed of the um, studio, but it was their first album. They were kind of taking orders. This is how you should do it. So, um, pretty cool though.
That is cool.
Anyway, I don't know what it is. This guy is cursed. I feel bad for him. Tyler
Ah,
O'Neill tearing up the league, 7 home runs already, and he has a collision with Rafael Devers. They're both going after a ball. And I kind of think it's probably Devers' fault because O'Neill playing left field is coming in, and he should be shouting Devers, "I've got it, I got it, I got it." The outfielder calls off the infield. That's the way it should be. The center fielder calls off anybody darn well
right.
please, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, I now he's in concussion protocol. The poor guy is going to get injured somehow. I just feel bad for the guy. So, and the Red Sox are off to a pretty good start.
Yes, they are.
This isn't going to help them. So,
I know. I feel bad for him. He used to be even bigger and more powerful built, and he kind of slimmed down and tried to slim down, and that's because he was always having injuries with pulled muscles and such. And when he plays, he's fantastic. Gold glove defender, got power. He's always struck out a little too much, but speed, one of the fastest guys on the team. But like you said, he's always getting hurt. And I think he had 8 stitches after that collision, and he's on
yeah.
concussion protocol. So I want nothing but the best for him, and I hope he sells. I'm sure that Boston fan base will just love him because he'll give you everything he's got, but he does spend a lot of time on the DL. Unfortunately, that happens to some players.
Now, the concussion protocol does not mean he's on the IL. If I'm
Okay.
remembering correctly, he has to go through a series of different tests. And when he gets to the point where he's deemed free, then he can join back up. I think with the concussion protocol, if it takes 3 days, it's 3 days. If it's 30 days, it's 30 days. I think it's separate than the IL.
Okay.
But I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. So, and a lot of times when I'm wrong, people call me out on it. They say, "You're wrong." I say, "Yes, I know."
Oh yeah, you correct us. That's what we're here for. It's just these Tuesday nights are like a kind of like a big meeting of us super fans, and we get together to talk about what's going on. So yeah, let us know or your take on something. Drop us a line and let us know.
Yeah, I feel bad for Tyler. But if it's something that's mild and he's back
Oh
next
yeah,
week, come
yeah.
back,
He's a
stay
pretty
hot.
tough guy.
Yeah. Yeah. So just kind of looking at the standings in the American League, and two things jumped out at me. JJ, I got a question for you. What is wrong with the Houston Astros, who are 6-12 right now?
I don't know. Hader has he went when he got traded from Milwaukee and went over to San Diego. He went through like a month where he was terrible, and so maybe he's pressing, maybe he's picked up some bad mechanics. We know he's great, but he's part of the problem. One of the things that's not part of the problem is Altuve. This could be maybe he's starting out like this might be the greatest year he ever had. I like these players because we talked about when we did our second basemans last week that this guy's a Hall of Famer. But I think if you get a chance, go see this guy play because it seems like this is the year where his athleticism and the wisdom of playing the game for so long and being a veteran have all come together. And I mean, I know it's early. We're only talking about 2 weeks in the season, but he's hitting 400. He's getting his on base percentage. He's playing off the charts. So he's setting himself up for a great year this year. And if you get a chance, go see this guy because, careers come and go, but this guy's been something else. So I'm definitely going to go see an Astro game just so I can say I saw Altuve. I saw him in spring training one year, but I've never seen him actually play in a game in the big leagues.
Yeah, Hader got lit up last night again. And his ERA, I think it's like 10. It's pretty bad. And like you said, he's went through stretches like this before where he's just tipping his pitchers doing something wrong, but he goes through these periods. I think he went through one when he was with Milwaukee, then he had a bad start in San Diego, and now this. Um, but I mean, he's got the stuff to straighten himself out. But I mean, they're having some issues with their full pitching staff with injuries and
Right.
um
Well, they had that kid come out of nowhere and throw a no-hitter.
yeah,
Verlander's been hurt all year, but they
I
have
think
so much talent that if they kind of stumble out of the starting gates, everybody starts like, oh my gosh. And it seems like that puts even more pressure on you. But I think when it's all said and done, they'll be right there fighting for a playoff spot. But it is surprising to see them have so much trouble here in the early going.
yeah. Yeah, and I was watching the Monday night game, and Tim Kirchin was talking, the Sunday
Oh, I
night
like
game,
that.
excuse me. Tim Kirchin was talking, and he's saying, well, when Verlander comes back, that's going to be a big boost to the Astros. When DeGrom comes back and Scherzer comes back, big boost for the Rangers. And that's one of the things that I these are old men. There's no guarantee they're going to come back and be what they were,
That's
especially
right.
after a long layoff. I mean, they can, but chances are they're not going to be what they were. But Kirchhoff was talking as if they're 25-year-old studs still, and I don't think just because these guys come back, they're necessarily going to be what they were in their prime. Probably going to be better than what I could do. In Houston's case, Verlander's probably going to be better than anyone else on the staff right now. Besides that new guy who threw the no hitter, he's
Yeah.
pitching good. But uh, uh the Rangers are about 500. The whole division is down with the exception of the Oakland A's, who are much better than anyone thought. Now they're still a terrible team; they still suck. But my gosh, what are they, like 7-10 now? And I thought by now they'd be 4-13.
Oh,
But
yeah. And Ruiz is back from his penalty. The owner put him in the penalty box for supporting the protesters. So
yeah,
he's back. He had a
he
home
had a
run
home
last
run
night.
yesterday.
Yes, he
Yeah,
did. Yes, he
yeah,
did. But Vince, that's the thing when it's in the wintertime, fans, especially us, and I think GMs get brought into this name recognition. You see a name and you're like, oh, we got to have that guy. And a lot of times that is true, but sometimes you only have a 5-year window where you're what I would say excellent, above the rest of the league. And
yeah.
sometimes, I mean, very few guys are the I'll give a Cardinal and a Cub, an Ernie Banks and a Stan Musial, where their whole career they're just the elite of the elite. There's so many guys that we passed on or didn't trade away people that I've been so glad we didn't make those moves because of either injuries or they just don't have it right now. But then you flip it over, and I know you're going to talk about Mr. Mike Bush, the young Dodger uh, player you got.
Who?
Is his
Never
name
heard of him.
Bush? Oh yeah. I mean, you guys have to be like so excited, and you guys could have went out and got a big name first baseman free agent, but if you put his stats against these other guys at the time, what a deal so far. So name recognition. I've seen that backfire so many times where a guy went out and got Mark Mulder, who had a nice career and he had one good year with us, but then that was kind of it. So sometimes I know we got rid of Jordan Hicks. He wanted to be a starter. He is lighting up. He's 2-0, and he's just looks like handing the Cy Young now. So we look like a bunch of boobs right now. I can't see him going 30-0 with a 1 ERA, but my God, he looks great right now. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on that, because sometimes just if you go after the big free agent, sometimes that's not the guy, you know.
On the flip side, what is up with the Kansas City Royals?
Hey, good news in Kansas City. I thought that Singer kid was going to be a good pitcher, and he was, struggling, but now he's come on. That kid, me and you both like, starts with a P. Pagan, maybe is his last name.
Reagan's?
Oh, Reagan's. Oh man, he looks great. They really built a nice young team. Went out and got some veterans like Walker and Lugo, and they're starting
Lugo
pitching.
is pitching great.
He's great, doing great. Um, and then yeah, you're right. Kansas and Bobby Witt Jr. every year just is getting better and better and better. And that kid, I watched him hit a triple the other day, and when he went around second, he was like an antelope. He was flying around them bases, and his shoulder was almost down on the dirt as he turned that corner, headed to third. He's phenomenal.
Yeah, I, and I don't know much, but I did pick them to be second place and probably looked really like, oh, what are you talking about? I just liked what they did in the offseason. I liked Keller. I liked Reagan's because I saw him pitch once last year. I thought, oh, yeah, they got a stud here, and Lugo's been good. The starting staff, the whole pitching staff's been pretty good. But when you look at the offense, there's some holes, but you know, you Bobby Wood Jr. is a legit MVP candidate.
Yes,
If
sir.
Kansas City is anywhere near 500 and he has a good year, he may dethrone my Trout stranglehold, although Trout is having a great year too.
Yeah.
Trout usually wins the MVP unless Otani's in the American League. So, um, but I really like the way their team is heading. I don't think they're a serious threat for postseason or anything like that, but I do like where they're heading. And I know they lost like 105 games last year, but I I thought this team is significantly better than they were last year, and their players that they're developing are a year older. And I know it hurts. Salvi Perez is on the IL now, and yeah, that's kind of the heart and soul of the team. The old veteran who's been there through two World Series, perennial All Star, probably a future Hall of Famer. He goes down. They're going to have to compensate for that. But I just like the direction that they're heading, and I'm glad to see that they're out of the blocks really well. It's a weak division. Cleveland, I don't think is as good as they started off being. We both like the Tigers. I think they're to ending up at the top there. I don't like the Twins. They're
They got rid of
uh,
a lot of people last year.
yeah. Um, so I looked for them to take a big step back. So
Cleveland's got those Naylor brothers. I really like them. Bo Naylor and the other Naylor, they are fantastic. And they lost Beaver, of course, but I really pull because I love Jose Ramirez over at third base. I'll pay money just to watch that guy play and hit. And
I paid
he's
money to watch him hit 3 home runs in one game last year,
you'll
man.
never forget that, will you? That's gonna be in your memory banks forever. That's
That
pretty
will.
cool. That's
Well,
pretty
I mean,
darn
I'm
cool.
already losing my memory. That's certain things stick in there, like the birth of my kids. That sticks in my memory.
You can't
Just
remember nothing else.
that and the 3 home runs by Jose are the only things that stick in my memory. By the way, what is your name? Um,
uh,
and another guy that I'm really happy for because I he's kind of Manny Ramirez
okay.
ish. I'm not talking about his hitting. I'm talking about the dopey things he could do, like climb the fence and the ball land 20 feet in front of the fence. But
I think I know who you're talking about.
yeah, uh, Marcelo Zuna is
Yes.
hitting 365 with 7 home runs, 22 RBIs. All these studs,
Oh
his
man.
OPS is 1.158. All these studs, you look at their Riley and Acuna Jr. and oh gosh, uh, just all these great players that are on the Braves.
Oh
And
yeah.
this old designated hitter is just crushing the ball, and he's kind of the forgotten guy in the lineup. But man, people are now remembering him. Oh yeah, this guy's really dangerous when he's hot. So it's pretty cool.
That is fantastic.
Um, I was very happy to see that McCutcheon hit his 300th home run earlier
Yes.
this week. And by the way, on the same day, on the same day, he stole home. And after the game, the little boy who caught his home run ball, I don't know, about 8, 9 years old, however old he was, he and his dad come bring the ball to McCutcheon. McCutcheon just talks to the boy a little bit and says, "Thank you for the ball. It means a lot to me and everything." And then he said, "I'm not going to let you leave here empty-handed." So he took a bat and he signed a bat, gave it to the kid. Dad got a picture. Kid, it was just a wonderful moment. That is a class guy. Just
Yes.
Andrew McCutcheon is what baseball needs. And I'm so glad he's back in Pittsburgh, where he is rightly so revered and loved.
One of the all-time great Pirate players right
Yeah,
there.
and a great human being, just fantastic. If you think about the Pirates, man, they have had some great human beings, Clemente, Stargell, McCutcheon, just guys that are just great human beings that go out to help people. So, uh,
I've always liked the Pirates. That's been a great organization. They beat the snot out of us in the 70s. When I was a kid, I just didn't think beating the Pirates was in the cards. It took us a few years before the '80 Cardinals to kind of turned the tables on them finally.
yeah, well, I'm very happy for that. I did see that Tommy Pham, he may have signed it now, but he was nearing a deal with the White Sox. Happy to see that he's getting a chance to play. The White Sox need anything they can get right now with their injuries. Um, it's just a mess out there, and Tommy Pham is going to help any team he goes to. Helped
Yes.
Arizona go to the World Series last year, and then
Great series in that playoffs
thanks,
for them.
bye. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll get it. Uh, besides Whitey Herzog passing away, a couple others passed away this week. Just today, Carl Erskine passed away. He pitched for the Dodgers from 48 to 59, so both in Brooklyn and in Los Angeles. Won a World Series with them in 55. Career record of 122 and 78, which is just pretty good.
Yeah.
ERA of about 4. He was your class. He won 20 games once. He was your classic. Uh, Couple years, yeah, you may have called him maybe the ace, but he was usually that second through fourth guy in the rotation. A very solid guy. And gosh, what was he like? 92? He was up there pretty good. 92, 97, I think it was. So
That was the great thing about the Dodgers. If that guy's your number 3 or 4, my gosh. I mean, that's the difference between a great team and a okay team. When they're sending somebody like that out there as their third, fourth pitcher, sometimes that's better than your ace on a lot of teams.
yeah. And I know he had one no hitter. I think I because he no hit the Giants. It was because they were big rivals then.
Yeah.
Well, they're still big rivals now, but they used to be big rivals in the
Oh,
same city.
yeah. In
So
New York and then out in California. Yeah.
yeah. So rest in peace, Carl. And St. Louis's own Kenny Holtzman passed away. He was born in 1945 in St. Louis in University City, and he went to the University of Illinois and pitched there. And he was Jewish and left-handed, so he drew a lot of comparisons to, hey, this is the next Sandy Koufax. He was not the next Sandy Koufax, but a lot of people don't know this, that he is the winningest Jewish pitcher in Major League history with 174 victories, which is 9 more than Koufax had.
All right.
Won 20 games a couple times. He spent his first 7 seasons with the Cubs, threw no hitters in 69 and 71. The no hitter he threw in 69 is the only no hitter, and it will never be done again, that was thrown where there was not a strikeout. So you think about it, 27, 28 guys come up to bat, I think 28, came up to bat, and everyone up to bat on the ball, and nothing fell in. That's why it never happens. It's
Yeah,
just,
that's teammates. Your teammates came through for you.
if you want a more extended uh, look at Um, Holtzman, I do believe on our very first episode, I did a spotlight on
Yes, you did.
him. And I kind of highlighted that 67 season, which still amazes me. He was only available to pitch on the weekends because he was with the National Guard. And he only made 12 starts that season, but he was 9-0 with a 2.53 ERA. And during the week, I mean, he wasn't with the team. He wasn't doing his regular throwing routines or anything. It was on the weekends. He goes to Chicago. He pitches one of the games Saturday or Sunday, and he goes out. Um, just an amazing accomplishment. The Cubs did trade him to the A's for Rick Monday in 1971, and he became a key part of that Oakland team that won 3 World Series. In the postseason, he posted a 1.97 ERA in 59 and a third innings for those great Oakland teams. And in Game 7 of the 73 series against the Mets, he held them to 1 run, 5 and third innings to pick up the W. So rest in peace, Ken Holtzman, St. Louis's own Ken Holtzman.
I tell you what, Vince, I got probably more messages about your story, how you spotlighted Kenny Holtzman than anything I've ever gotten. People really enjoyed that, and the Dave Kingman spotlight you did, where everybody's favorite ones. They wanted to send a shout out to you and thank you for the knowledge, because that was a lot of stuff folks didn't know. So that's our top 2 spotlights we've ever had.
I don't know about that, but now you've got me thinking. Is Dave Kingman going to die soon?
Oh no, we got a good one here.
Is this my fault? Oh my gosh, this is terrible. What's going on in Cardinal news aside from
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, Vince, I have had so much stuff here lately. I wanted to show you. I did bring it in here, but I got a pin from the last game in 1976 of the Milwaukee Brewers, and it's a little pin with it says "Thank you, Milwaukee," and it's got the years that Hank Aaron played, and it's got a picture of Hank Aaron with like a standard like autograph on it. He didn't actually say, he's probably signed one and then they just copied him. I love that pin. I had never seen it before, and I picked that up. I was just going to show you a few things I got, and I don't know, I was thinking of you, and I found this. This is when I was in the Navy, and this was a Cardinal Cub game at Wrigley Field, and that is what the programs looked like back then. Kind of neat. And then of course on the back you got Cub fan Budman, old Harry Carey advertising old Bud beer there. And I think this was like the second game I ever went to Wrigley Field, and it was just, I got to see the car. I was sitting in the upper deck, kind of between home and third, and got to watch the Cardinals play the Cubs in Wrigley Field. It just don't get no better than that. And the scorecard back here in 1987, 40 cents. That's pretty cool. Of course, it's got the insides where you can write down the players' names and everything like that. And some of the players on that team in 87, shoot, it's so faded. You got Ryan Sandberg and Andre Dawson and Keith Moreland, Jody Davis, Rick Sutcliffe threw that day. Rick Sutcliffe threw. And on the Cardinals side, Vince Coleman, Ozzie Smith, Tommy Herr, Willie McGee. Tony Pena was the catcher in 87. Oh, Tony Pena. I love Tony Pena. So anyway, kind of wanted to show you that. And then every once in a while, the post office puts out special stamps, and this is the Legends of Baseball stamps. I've had that, I guess, in a drawer somewhere, and as you can tell, right here in the corner, there's old Satchel Paige, and these are the old timers. Cy Young's on there, Dizzy Dean, Lou Gehrig. There's old Lou Gehrig right there. Roberto Clemente, just some of the all-time greats there. George Sisler, Christy Mathewson, Eddie Collins, Jackie Robinson right there in that corner right there. So anyway, these were back when stamps were 33 cents. I don't even know what a stamp is anymore, Vince.
I think it's 55 now.
Wow. I will say this, when I was in the Navy in the 80s, in Australia, stamps were 87 cents to send a postcard home from Australia, and that was in the 1980s. So I don't even know what they would be over there now.
Yeah.
I got a book. I'm not much of a reader. About the only things I read are Baseball Digest and TV Guide. That's about my reading. But I got a book. I really like this Ron Green. I'm trying to get him to come on and just talk about some of his books. But I think he does every team. And this one's 101 Reasons to Love the St. Louis Cardinals. It's kind of a coffee table book. And it just, it just goes one, the bird on the bat, then talks about the uniform. And it goes all the way through and gives you 100 reasons to love the 101 reasons to love the Cardinals. So I picked that up. That's kind of a nice little coffee table book. And then this other thing I got, Vince, I'm so proud of this, and I just kind of want to show it off. But these are these panels, and this honors the 2006 Cardinal World Series champions. Look at this bad boy. Is that cool or what?
Wow.
Yeah, I love that. Take it. Look how young Yachty is right there. My God, he looks like a kid in 2006. He was a rookie in 2004, and this kind of brings back some great memories of that team and everything. So anyway, I saw that and I had to have it, and I'll put it back here every once in a while and show it off. But I had a choice between 06, 11, the history of Stan Musial, or the history of Albert Pujols. I didn't see any Cubs stuff because it was in St. Louis that I got that. And then the other thing I wanted to show you, I've been collecting jerseys lately, and I tell you what, who is the fellow who won the contest from New York?
Mark Marianello.
Mark. I've been talking to this guy, and he sends me pictures of stuff he gets. I tell you what, I'm a minor leaguer compared to that guy. I really am. But I'll say he'll have some extravagant thing, and I'll have, oh, look at my Hank Aaron. But I do have this right here, a Tim McCarver signed jersey right there. And I absolutely love this. And here's a letter of authenticity. It was signed. It wasn't a game used jersey, but June 4th, 06. He signed that. And so that's pretty cool. And it's majestic. They used to make the uniforms. So anyway, I got that. And then I have an autograph of McCarver right over here, because I'm putting together a shadow box. And there's a young Tim McCarver, probably like 63, 64 right there. So anyway, I got that. So just showing off a few things. I always like to get on here, and that's the thing about collecting. You never know what you're going to find. I kind of always focus on a player. I've been working on an Enos Slaughter thing I'm doing, and now a Tim McCarver too. So I'm always in the mood to find something. Well, now we get to the Cardinal news. All right. The Cardinals, actually, we started out the week 5-6, and we went 3-3 this week. All right. And so we're 8-9 now. We had a few roster moves. Lars Nootbaar's back, and I'm glad to see him. He brings a spark to the team. Another young player. He was activated on April 11th, which they sent the third catcher, Pedro Pages, back to Memphis. So he came up, and then on the April 9th, we got Sonny Gray activated, and John King went back to the minors, got reassigned back down there. So we got Lars back and Sonny Gray's back. Then he's on a pitch count. So that's how the week started. And so starting out on Tuesday, April 9th, the Cardinals win 3-0, and Sonny Gray has his debut with the Cardinals. He had a 65 pitch count, and he went about exactly 65 pitches through 5 innings, gave up 5 hits, no walks, 5 Ks, and gets the win. And the bullpen came through 4 innings and just gave up 3 hits, and had 3 walks and 8 strikeouts. Helsley got his 4th save, and the Cardinals turned 3 double plays. Were really, I tell you what, Nolan Gorman and Wynn are really working well together as a double play combo over there. They get the lion's share of the playing time, and they're looking really good at pulling the double plays. And Arenado, fantastic. When he gets a ball, he can come up and throw right on the chest to Gorman, and then they get the double play. So it's fun watching the Cardinals, and anything in the ground. I'm telling you, Goldie's been playing Gold Glove level first base at defense over there. So we win that game, which is good. And then on Wednesday, it is the rubber game, and the Cardinals lose 3-4. Lance Lynn against Nola, and Nola usually cleans her clocks, and he was just so great that day. Lance Lynn went 5 innings and gave up no earned runs, but he did give up 2 runs. We had some errors and 4 walks and 6 Ks. But Lance ERA right now, it seems like he gets a lot of unearned runs. So he's only a 2.63, and he's going about 5 innings to start. So I'd like to see him up those innings and keep that ERA. Now, 2.63 is not a bad ERA. Zach Thompson that day, 3.1 innings in the bullpen, just 4 hits, and did a fantastic job. And I think he's much suited now that Sonny Gray's back at being in the bullpen. So it's fun seeing him in the bullpen. I don't think he's quite ready to be a starter in the big leagues, but he's got a great arm and he is a good pitcher. And then Palante has not looked good at all. Last year he looked so promising, but this year he's been getting lit up so far. So he's kind of been one of the weaker spots in our bullpen, but they're showing patience with him and seeing if he can work through it. Last year he looked really good. So we had a day off. So the Cardinals were 1-1. And then we go to Arizona. So in that first game in Arizona, we win 9-6. And I'll be honest with you, I did a comedy show. I came out 6-0. I'm like, all right. And all of a sudden, the game, I started listening to the game. Here comes Arizona, and they score 6 runs in 1 inning. My gosh, I cursed the team. But we ended up winning the game in the later innings. And Steven Matz was pitching brilliantly until the 5th inning, and then just the wheels fell off. Gallegos came in, gave a home run, and 6 runs in 1 inning. Gallegos has not had it yet. I think he is a good pitcher, but he hasn't looked good. He's really struggled at times. But I tell you what, that's the game that Arenado hit his first home run. And Arenado started out the first week not hitting at all, but he's been on a roll here lately and looking really good, looking like his old self. Seems like he's worked some things out, and of course playing great defense. Helsley got his 5th save in that game, and so I don't know. Things are looking good. At that time, Burleson, who's looked really good, taking good at bats. He's hitting 256. That kid is like progressing. I like what I've seen out of him. Ivan Herrera hitting 290. He hit his 3rd home run. It was a solo blast. And Donovan, who takes such great at bats, working those pitchers, getting 6 and 7 pitch at bats, is hitting 256 at that time, and he hit his 2nd home run. So that's good. And Arizona's a very good team. Well, then Saturday comes, and we lose 2-4, and Gibson does go 6 innings, but he gave up 4 runs. He's pitching about 6 innings a time, but his ERA is not very good. Right now it's 6.16. I'm embarrassed to say that, but he is not. His ERA does not look good, but he is pitching a lot of innings, and he usually has one horrific inning and this kills him. And he's been the long balls kind of killed him. So anyway, we lost 2-4 in that game, and then Sunday, Zach Gallen. Sometimes you just have to tip your cap to the other team. He looked fantastic. He was just too much. He went 6 innings, no runs, 2 walks, 7 Ks, and he owned us. Corbin Carroll, I tell you what, he's only hitting 233, but he got his 5th stolen base, and that guy will figure out a way either to make a great defensive play, running the bases. He's a very good base runner, steals bases, and he is hitting 233, and he won't do that for long. In that game, Miles Michaelis only went 4.2 and gave up 5 runs. It was not a bad start for Miles. On the good part of that, Ryan Fernandez has had 4. He was a guy that was hurt all last year. He's a Rule 5 guy. He has 4 appearances. He's pitched 5.2 innings. He's got 7 strikeouts. He's got a 3.18 ERA, and that's basically because he had 1 appearance where he gave up some runs. And I tell you what, keep an eye on that kid. He's got some strikeout. When you need a big strikeout, he could come in. I think as much as anybody, he might be able to get that big strikeout. So I like this Ryan Fernandez kid. Keep an eye on him. So then last night, April 15th at Oakland. We're going down to Oakland now. And, as Cardinal fans, we're like, hey, we got Oakland. I don't take after last year being 71 and 91, I don't take any team for granted. But let me tell you what, Sonny Gray came out. He had his pitch count was a little higher this time. I think they were talking more about maybe 75 pitches. And Sonny Gray wins the game. That we went 3-1. Sonny Gray won his 100th game. He's 2-0 now, and he has not gave up a run yet. He's looked really good. And of course, this is a guy works the ball. He's got a slider that's been lights out, and he really sets the guys up good. And Contreras and him are working so well together. It's fun to watch. This is my kind of pitcher, a guy who pitches the ball. He doesn't throw 100 miles an hour or anything, but he's a very competitive guy, and he's looked so good in there. 6 innings, 4 hits, and 6 Ks. And so far on the year, he's pitched 11 innings, no earned runs, no walks, and 11 Ks. Do I expect that to keep up? I'd like for it to, but so far so good. So he is the ace of our staff. It's so great to have him on our team. And Helsley worked the 1 inning and got 2 strikeouts and 6 saves. And I tell you what, Helsley has pitched back-to-back at times. He's not pitching more than an inning, but his off-speed stuff is just as dangerous as his fastball, which reaches sometimes 101, 102 miles an hour. He's hitting the spots. It's looking really good. He's had 1 bad outing so far, but he's got 6 saves, and I'll take that. And just some of the guys that have looked really good so far. Lars Newbar's great to have him back in there. He's just a step up from everybody else that's out there playing. I like Donovan, but Lars is just a much better fielder in the outfield. Arenado, he went 2 for 4 last night, and he's hitting 286 now. Contreras went 2 for 4. He's hitting 286. And our shortstop Win, that kid struggled with he looked like he was overmatched last year, and he's really come on, taking good at bats, taking balls the other way, bunting. The Cardinals didn't bunt this much all last year. I see bunts almost every game, maybe for a hit or a sacrifice. They're looking very good there. And Win went 2 for 3, and he's hitting 370 now at the moment right now, and playing stellar defense. Sometimes he makes some rookie mistakes. The big problem with the Cardinals right now is we're striking out too much. These young guys get in there, and either they're getting fooled or they're just getting overpowered, but they're just striking out too much. And some of the guys right now that's really Goldschmidt is struggling big time, and I've never seen him strike out this much. Playing gold glove type defense, but not hitting very well at all. Gorman, he'll hit 3. He's got 3 home runs, but he strikes out all the time. He's kind of killing us. Jordan Walker, I didn't realize how fast this kid is. He's playing much better in the outfield, but yet he has not hit at all yet this year. And Victor Scott II in center field, playing great defense, has made a few errors, a lot of young mistakes, striking out too much. But in the field, I can't make any qualms with them. If these guys can just cut back on their strikeouts, I think, because right now we're scoring about 3 runs a game is what we're averaging. So coming up in the next week, we got 2 more at Oakland. Thursday we're off, and then next week we play here against Milwaukee Brewers. I'm going to try to make the Sunday game, and then we go, Arizona. So after the Oakland series, we come home against Milwaukee and Arizona. So it doesn't get any easier, but at least this year we're competitive, Vince. This year we're giving everybody. I mean, when we lost the other day 5-0 to Zach Gallen, we got beat. But this year we're a lot more competitive, and the games are funner to watch, and at least we have a chance. Where last year we were just getting butts kicked. So that's really what's going on. And there's a couple other things coming up. In the upcoming week, Jordan Walker's got a bobblehead day coming up. Sunday's a Cardinal hat day where you get like a cardinal that sits on there and his legs are on the sides of your face. I don't know what the heck that's about. And Saturday at the Cardinal Hall of Fame, Ken Daly will be signing autographs. I think that's like around noon to 1 or something like that. So anyway, that's it for Cardinal news right there.
All right. Go to Cooperstown, get that plaque ready, put that name on there. It's time for Bush. Michael Bush, the first baseman for the Chicago Cubs, who's not a very big guy.
Oh, really?
Oh, hey, he's not like a huge first baseman. This is the guy we traded one of our lower level pitching prospects for to play first base for us. And he is technically still a rookie. If he would have had, I think, 1 or 2 more at bats last year, he wouldn't have qualified, or he would have been a rookie last year. But he didn't hit much for the Dodgers last year, but he was looking good at the plate. He's hitting 327 for us. He has 6 home runs. 12 RBIs, a 1.14 OPS,
Woo.
and he is currently riding a 5-game homer streak. So they play tonight in Arizona starting at 8:40, and I'm hoping that maybe he runs us to 6.
What's the Cub record? Is it what who's got that?
I think it's 5 or 6.
Oh, he's right there. Hey.
Yeah. I've liked him from what I've seen in spring training. He knows what he's doing at the plate. He takes his walks. He doesn't strike out a ton. He's just a very good hitter with enough pop that he's going to hit home runs. This may be, and who knows how lower level prospect he was. I can't remember which pitching prospect it was, but I think Jackson Ferris, one of our better pitching prospects. But basically, the Dodgers moved him for his sake because he's not going to usurp Freddie Freeman. So they had no room for him. So they got what they could for out of him with us, and we are reaping the benefits. I'm not saying he's going to be rookie of the year. I'm just saying I like his bat. This guy is a major league hitter. My only complaint with him is defensively, he has trouble scooping balls out of the dirt. So if he could polish that up a bit, I'd be very happy. Last week, I had a lot of fire and damnation for Jose Cuas, enough that they sent him to AAA and they brought Keegan Thompson up.
Don't mess with Vince Offer, Jack.
I have, yeah. This may be the worst news we've had this year. It may be worse than Justin Steele because this guy plays every day and he's having an all-star season so far. But Seiya Suzuki is on the IL with the right oblique strain. Right now, he's hitting 305 with 3 home runs and 13 RBIs. Playing great for us. But with the oblique strain, got to put him on the shelf and get that thing healed. So we called up Alexander Canario, who I think this does 2 things. Number one, it allows Suzuki to heal, but Canario will be getting a lot of at-bats, and I think Canario, this is an opportunity for him not only to contribute, but if he does good, he's a showcase. So at the trading deadline, maybe that's something we could move. I do love his bat. I think he has a major league bat, not just I think he can have some impact in the major leagues. So this is very important that he play good to fill in for Suzuki, but also, and he's probably realizes this. There's no room on this team for me, barring injuries. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to try to impress someone. So I hope he does that. Jameson Taillon is returning to the club. His first start is yet to be determined, but it's probably going to be against the Marlins because we go home and we'll face the Marlins. Patrick Wisdom is tearing it up in AAA, and after starting the year on the IL, so he has an expected return soon. And that's probably going to mean either Garrett Cooper or Miles Mastrobuoni is going to be going down or DFA'd or something. I don't know. The Cubs have signed former 2-time All-Star Julio Teheran to a minor league deal after he was DFA'd by the Mets about a week ago. With Steele down, Taillon down, Hendricks pitching like garbage, and I'll talk about that in a minute. It's time we get a little bit of depth, so we did sign Julio Teheran to a minor league deal, and if we need him, he's there. We're not expecting all-star pitching from him anymore, but if he can contribute, if we need him, that'd be great. Justin Steele is finally throwing off the mound, which is good. He's going to be back probably sometime in May. And for this week, the Cubs went 4-2, and so far for the season, we are 10-6. Now, if you'll remember last week when I came on here, we had just blown an 8-0 lead to San Diego.
Oh yeah, tough game.
8. And I said, okay, we can either put it behind us or we can use this to define us. We put it behind us really quick. The next day, Tuesday after we recorded, We beat San Diego 5-1. Gomes hit a home run. Morel hit a grand slam. Boom, it was out. Ben Brown started his first start after getting some work against the Rangers. But anyway, he got hit. No, this was his first start. He got hit when he first came up. The first day he came up, they put him in a relief situation. He just got knocked around to replace Steele. And the next game he played him, we had an opener, and then he came in and he pitched like 4 shutout innings. So he started again last Tuesday night, went 4 2/3 innings, only gave up 3 hits, struck out 5, gave up no runs. And Smiley got the win in that 5-1 victory. And we had put that nasty 9-8 loss behind us. And then on Wednesday, we lost to San Diego 10-2. Bush did hit his second home run that night. But this is what's concerning. This was the last start that Hendricks has had, and he will be starting again tonight. Hendricks so far has looked terrible. He is 0-2, and he has an ERA over 12. And Hendricks has to pitch down in the zone, and it seems to me he is getting his change up, which kind of has like a fading action, like a sinker. He's getting that up in the zone. He's always pitched high fastballs in the zone, and he doesn't throw but 89 miles an hour. But when you're looking for a changeup, that looks like 99. So he can get those high strikes with a fastball. When your changeup is just basically hanging there like a T-ball, you're going to get hit. I see this as a very important start for Hendricks because we do have Tyone coming back. Steele's going to be coming back in May. Ben Brown is pitching great. Javier Assad is pitching great. Wicks is pitching good. He had a bad outing, but he is pitching good. Imanaga hasn't given up an earned run. Hendricks may be the guy that when Tyone comes back, we're going to have to say, I don't see him going to the bullpen, but I do see us saying, hey, we're going to put you on the 10-day IL, with an ingrown, brow hair or something, and see if you can straighten this out, because unless he has a decent outing tonight, I can't see us marching him back out there. And I've heard pundits say that you got to keep marching him out there, so we can figure this out. I don't want to wait. I no offense to Cardinal fans, but one of the reasons you lost 91 games last year is because you guys allowed Adam Wainwright, who clearly was no longer a major league pitcher, to try to get his 200th win. I don't want to see that with Hendricks. I would rather win and say, okay, you just don't have it anymore. Bye. So I am very interested in tonight's game. So we go to Seattle and we lose the first game 4-2. Wicks, 4 innings pitched, 4 earned runs, did not have a good start, his first bad start. Bush hit a double and a home run, his 3rd home run, his 2nd in 2 nights. What's going on here?
Hey,
I don't know.
That Chicago Magic.
Yeah, so the next night we play in Seattle. We win 4-1. What happened? Oh, I don't know. Suzuki hit a home run. And who else hit a home run? A guy named Bush. His 4th home run. His 3rd in 3 games. It's like amazing. But Imanaga started that game, 5 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, but it was unearned. He has not given up an earned run yet. And he's been everything as advertised. Is he going to keep this up? Of course not. The league's going to catch up to it. But the first time through, he's going to be very tough to hit for people because they just haven't seen it. Alzolay did get a save in that game. So, gosh, I hate it when my pages stick together. So the last game, the final game in Seattle, we won 3-2. Suzuki had 2 hits. Bush had 2 hits, and oh my gosh, what did he do? He hit another home run, his 5th, his 4th in 4 days. Amazing. So beat Seattle 3-2. Javier Assad won the game. Assad is 2-0 with a 2.16 ERA, and I hear people say he pitches Yeah, he's doing it with Bears. I don't know. He's pitched good for 2.5 years now. I don't think it's Bears. I think he's just a pretty good pitcher just because he doesn't have the sexy stuff. He's still really good. Alzolay got his third save. This was a weird game. Max and I were watching it, and we're up 3-2 in the ninth, and we have 2 outs, and they have a runner on first. I think it was the catcher. Raleigh got walked, and so they put in their great young star. He didn't start, the outfielder.
Rodriguez.
Rodriguez. They brought in Rodriguez to pinch run. So Rodriguez is on first. Alzolay throws a heck of a pickoff, and they call him save. And I thought, I don't know about that. So counsel, And so after about 5 minutes, the umpire gets on there. The ruling has been overturned. The runner is out. The game is over. So we won on a pickoff play. So Alzolay got that third save. Last night we go to Arizona. We had trouble with Arizona last year. We had 2 series with them towards the end of the year, and that's what knocked us out of the playoffs. That's what got them hot whenever they started beating up on us. So we go to Arizona yesterday, and we win again, 3-2. Michael Bush, 5th straight game with a home run number 6. Garrett Cooper went 2 for 5. Nico Horner went 2 for 4, got the game-winning hit. And so we ended the week 4-2. I'm very happy. We have 1 more game or 2 more games in Arizona. The worst we're gonna do is see, we lost that first game, so we're gonna have a pretty good.
Yeah.
We are 4-3 right now on the West Coast swing. So even if we lose the next 2, we'd be 4-5. I will take that with the injuries that we've had, because we go home and we play the Marlins, and I know you guys lost to the Marlins, and everybody lost their lunch over it. Like, how can we lose to the Marlins? It happens. But the Marlins are I had another pitcher go down the last couple of days, so.
We won 2 out of 3. I mean, I'll take that against any major league team.
So I'll be happy to see the Marlins come into town and see if we can have a good game against them. So that's everything in Cub news.
Can I ask 2 questions about the Cubs? Just 2.
Yes.
Well, I haven't got to see him yet. I've seen highlights. I know if you hit 5 home runs in a row and 5 games in a row, the fans are just going to love you. But is Bush the darling of the Cub fan base? I mean, is he like a Pete Rose kind of guy? Is he Chris Bryant, where he's smiling and having a good time? What kind of player is he?
He's kind of a quiet guy. He's not flamboyant.
Goldschmidt kind of just goes about his business.
This 5 homer streak has happened on the West Coast, so I don't know. The fans are gonna hey, Mike Bush is up,
Yeah.
When he gets back, he's probably going to be getting a lot more applause. But we need that. He's usually hitting 6th or 7th in the lineup. So we need that pop towards the bottom of the lineup. What was your second question?
Oh, it sounds like your bullpen's being fantastic because you're winning a lot of games 2-1, 3-2, real close competitive games. You like how Council's handling the bullpen and how they're reacting, and it's coming together for you?
Yeah, Hector Neris has not pitched very well yet. For some reason, he cannot get the ball over the plate to the right-handers. Does great against the left-handers, but against the right-handers, he's not throwing the ball over the plate, which is really weird. And Neris doesn't throw that hard. He's low 90s, but he's a high fastball sinker type pitcher, splitter type pitcher. So I think he'll figure it out. It's hurt. Last week I reported Julian Merriweather is going to be gone. Probably, I think he's on the 60-day IL. He's been such a great piece of our bullpen the last year and this year. So we're going to miss him. Leiter Jr.'s throwing good. Cross being sent down has been positive. Keegan Thompson's taken his place, and Keegan Thompson's pitched really well. Got the win last night, two shutout innings against a very good Arizona team. So it's coming together. Palencia still scares me when he's out there. I'd like to see him move Luke Little to more high pressure situations. He's only given up 1 run all year long, and his pitches look great. Alzolay seems to be pitching better the last couple of outings. He's had a couple of saves. I still just don't think that he's the kind of closer that can get you through a postseason because he's not a swing and miss guy, you know.
All right. Well, from everything I've read and everything I've seen, they're looking what it takes. You got the power, the speed. Your guys are a young team. We're a young team. You just have better, younger starting pitching than we do. And it sounds like your bullpen's been fantastic as well. So good. That sounds great, man. Sounds like it's going to be a good year. Can't believe it's only been 2 weeks and all this has happened in the league. It's been something else.
Council navigates injuries and he navigates that stuff really well. And he never shows signs of panic or anything. He's
Mr. Cool.
Steady. So,
yeah.
You know who else never shows signs of panic?
Oh man, he's as cool. That's the guy I want in the foxhole with me. Oh, Jeremy Connor.
Jeremy Connor. Comes a time in every man's life when he needs some advice on relationships. You need to listen to the podcast DMDR, which stands for Dating, Marriage, Divorce, Remarriage, from my good friend Jeremy Connor, the Dr. Phil of the Boot Hill. You can find DMDR on Spotify or whatever platform you choose to listen to your podcast. Thank you, Jeremy. We had another segment we were going to do, but with the passing of Whitey Herzog, we thought we would just finish the last segment before baseball cards talking about Herzog, his career, and what he's meant to St. Louis and baseball in general. And I'm going to let JJ start because he's the Cardinal fan. And
oh man, Whitey Herzog. The 3 biggest days I remember in Whitey was the day he came to St. Louis. I couldn't believe we got Whitey Herzog. He was a legend on the other side of the state with Kansas City. And although back then we didn't get to watch all the games like we did now, they won a tough division and they always had to go up against the Yankees to get to the World Series. And the Yankees would just beat, it seemed like Chris Chambliss always got the big hit to beat them. And it was always 5. It went to 5. Back then, it was the best of 5. I always go to that 5th game, and Yankees would get to the World Series, and the Royals just couldn't get there. So it looked like he'd stay over there forever. And when we got him, we just knew things were different. This is sort of like I considered like you guys getting Madden from Tampa Bay. When he came, I knew, things are going to be different now, and that's how it was kind of with Whitey Herzog, and. Whitey, I'm going to just talk as a fan now and what I got to see. Those 80s was just a special time. I was a kid that started watching baseball in 1974, and we were just a middle of the pack kind of team. It was always the Phillies and the Pirates were just so much better than us. I didn't even imagine us being in the playoffs. That doesn't seem possible. I know the history of the Cardinals and everything. And then Whitey, not only was he the manager, he was the general manager, and that just doesn't happen to give somebody that much power. He was when he got to do that, the last guy that was the general manager was Connie Mack, and that was 31 years before Whitey did it. And Whitey came in, and I tell you what, he cleaned house. The Cardinals were a great hitting team with average defense and below average pitching, to be honest with you. And he took prospects. We had a bunch of pitchers that nobody knew really what we had. And he made trades with the Brewers. That first year he came in the winter meetings, and every day we were like, what's Whitey going to do today? Made these huge moves with the Milwaukee Brewers, the San Diego Padres. You put Whitey Herzog and San Diego's Jack McKeon in a room, and there's going to be some people being moved around. I'm telling you. And he brought over Darrell Porter as a free agent, which the Cardinals are not known for signing many free agents, but he wanted a solid defensive catcher who could handle the pitching staff. And Sid Simmons, although he's a St. Louis legend, Porter was just a better defensive player, and they wanted Simmons to play first, and he wouldn't. And Whitey, he just he pulled some strings. He was like, that's it. So he traded him up to Milwaukee, made all kinds of moves, and the team was much better. But that was the strike year. And although we had the best record overall, we didn't make the playoffs that year because we had Cincinnati one half and Montreal in the other half, and we didn't. Overall, we had the best record, but not in the two halves. That was a weird year. If you get a chance, go back and watch that. And then as some things are just strange. I remember the Gary Templeton trade for Ozzie Smith, and as a kid, I was like, "What the heck? Gary Templeton's a switch hitter. So is Ozzie. He gets 100. He hits a 300 hitter. Ozzie Smith can't hit 210, but he is a great defensive player. And of course, I look like an idiot now because Ozzie made himself a very good hitter. Came over here. Whitey believed in him. He said, "You don't have to hit. I know you're going to save him. You know, you're going to win us about 6-7 games just with your glove." And they had a bet. And that's the way it was. These millionaires, Whitey says, for every ball you hit on the ground, I owe you $1. Every ball you hit in the air, you owe me $1. So they had bets like that. And Whitey was a character. He had came up, worked hard in the minor leagues. It seems like some of these great managers were not great ball players. And he studied at the feet of Casey Stengel over in the Yankee organization when he was a young man. And he had a lot of that about him, telling stories and coming in and checking on the players, seeing if they were okay. I've heard so many players tell stories about Whitey. But when he was here, he knew we had a big ballpark. Back then, we played on AstroTurf, and he built a team like he had in Kansas City with speed and defense and guys that could put pitchers that could throw the ball over the plate. And some of the key pieces is Bruce Sutter. I know Cub fans, Bruce, a legend. Of course, he's right there over my shoulder. But when Bruce came, Bruce sometimes would come in the seventh inning and shut it down. And when you have somebody like that on your team, a Hall of Famer, it's just not even fair. Ozzie Smith stole a player out of the Yankee organization for a left-hander journeyman, Bob Sykes. We trade to the Yankees and pick up Willie McGee. So that 80s team, we had a lot of moving parts, a lot of players that came through, and I really think that rejuvenated just baseball in St. Louis. Whitey, most of the time you don't have a manager that's the star of the team. I mean, you might have Billy Martin or Madden or Dusty Baker, and but Whitey was one of those guys. Uh, Reporters love Whitey. He'd sit there and hold court, eating cheese and drinking Budweisers and telling stories and stuff. And all the players, although he was tough, he was fair. He let you know. I know him and Keith Hernandez had a falling out at one time, but Keith has always said great things about Whitey. It hurt when we got rid of Keith. Joaquin Andujar, he made some tough decisions with players like that. But once Augie Busch passed away, I think that was kind of we knew the end was coming because the brewery just didn't care like Augie cared about Cardinal baseball. And they didn't put nothing into the team. And so Whitey stepped down. And I remember the day he came to the Cardinals. I remember hearing on the radio in 1990 that he resigned. Broke my heart. And so many great memories of that time period and all those great years. We didn't go to the playoffs every year, but we went to 3 World Series. 82, which was magical. That's kind of like 2016 for you guys, where I didn't know we could do this. This is incredible. I'll never forget that the rest of my life. 85, where I thought we were the better team than the Royals, and then the Don Dinkinger thing, but that's beside the thing. I always remember that. But they beat us, and good for the Royals. And in 87, I was in the Navy, and that's when the Twins beat us. But I still remember that Tom Lawless bat flip. Jack Clark was hurt.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I still remember that, boy. Just barely went over the wall. But oh, Whitey, man, great times, great coaching staffs. It seemed like the organization was in great hands at that time period. And Augie, when Whitey came over, he said, "Just give me one more championship," because at that point we hadn't been back to the World Series since '68 and won it in '67. And Whitey came through. He gave him the power to make some moves, and Whitey knew what he was doing. And I just think having a man like that is great for baseball. And of course, he was a Cardinal, but I always think of him as a Royal too. He also was in charge of player development with the Mets, and helped build that organization as well. One of my favorite pictures of Whitey, I just wanted to share this. This was the 82 championship. And Whitey signed that for me. There is him and Augie Bush. And that's the two men that brought the world championship to St. Louis in 82. So I'm very proud of that. Look how young he is there. He's 50 years old right there. So he's 10 years younger than I am right now in that picture. So how about the old white rat? So that's my recollections. And of course, when you go to Busch Stadium over in left field, you know, he's number 24 right there between Lou Brock and Bruce Sutter. So there's old Whitey on the wall. That's a great picture of him too. So anyway, that's some of my recollections of old Whitey.
And my just for those of you who don't know, Whitey was born and raised in New Athens, Illinois, which is right across the river, about 20 miles from St. Louis, maybe a little bit more. But when he was a kid, he used to go to Sportsman's Park and watch the Browns games. So it's more of a Browns guy than a. So he made the majors. He played 8 years in the majors, usually as a utility person. Did about 250, nothing spectacular. Then he started coaching, and he really made a name for himself when in the late 60s, he was put in charge of the Mets minor league organization and was responsible for the development of so many of those great young players that took them to the World Series in 73. And then he went to the Rangers and was fired towards the end of his tenure with the Rangers. Didn't look like he was much of a manager. And then when the Royals fired Jack McKeon and hired Whitey Herzog, Whitey realized I've got the ingredients for a team that can fit this ballpark, a team with speed. And probably the most intelligent thing he did to jumpstart that Royals offense is he had Charlie Lau come in and put his hitting philosophy. Charlie Lau's hitting philosophy wouldn't work today because everybody has to hit home runs, but Royal Stadium was like hitting the ball out of the Grand Canyon, and it had huge power alleys. And Charlie Lau's philosophy of hitting line drives through the ball, trying to hit the ball up the middle, was just perfect for that team. And 76, 77, 78, they lost in the playoffs to the Yankees every year. So they got rid of Whitey because obviously it was Whitey's fault. And then he came to St. Louis and the rest is history. But Whitey was quite a character. One of my favorite quotes was after the Sandberg game. Someone asked him about Ryan Sandberg, and just in Whitey fashion, not best player in baseball. You know, basically that's an FU, you know. But all these news outlets forget Whitey Herzog says that Ryan Sandberg is the best player in baseball. No, it was a flippant Whitey remark that everybody in St. Louis knows how he operated. The Templeton thing, when Templeton did the opposite gesture to the fans, that kind of sealed his fate. And Whitey handled that. He handled the Keith Hernandez thing very professionally. He took the fall when he didn't need to. And a lot of managers say, I traded that guy because he did this. I didn't play that game. If he traded someone for a personal reason, of course, Templeton's was so public, you know, but Whitey never said anything bad about him anymore, just traded him and went on with life. But I just loved him. And, you know, like you said, the game, when the Brewery took over, he was like, I remember him being interviewed saying, you know, when I got with the Cardinals, we wanted to make a trade. Me and Augie just be it.
Grant's Farm. They go down to Grant's Farm and have a beer.
Yeah, have a beer. We'd talk about who we won. He'd say, do it. And so I did it. Then it became so perfect towards the end. He said, nah, he ended up he's an executive for the Angels. But definitely Hall of Fame guy. And he will be greatly missed in the St. Louis community.
Oh, yeah.
Married
One of the
71 years.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that guy. Top notch. You don't see that most people don't live 71 years. That's fantastic, man. He won six division titles, and his record was 1,281 wins and 1,125 losses. He always had a competitive team, and it seemed like even after free agency, when he was in Kansas City, the core of that team was the same guys, Cowens and Brett, Wathan and Freddie Podtek and Frank White and all those players. And then he came to St. Louis, and although the businesses people move and retire and that, Jim Cott, he kind of reinvented Jim Cott as a one batter left-handed pitcher, and he said, "Can you still get the big lefty out over there?" And he goes, "Yeah." So he'd have Cott come back every year. And Cott just said, I'd still be pitching for him if he'd have me out there. And he liked the veterans. The young players liked him. Willie McGee. He told Terry Pendleton, "You just come up here and bust your butt for me, and just that's all. No more pressure. You just go out and do your best. And no matter what happens, you're going to be up here. You're going to be up here." And there was talk one winter of the Cardinals trading Pendleton. Whitey got a hold of him and said, "You ain't going nowhere. As long as I'm here, you're here." Well, Whitey left in 1990 and Terry Pendleton left in 1990. But he was a big advocate for Terry Pendleton. I have a few items here. I always have a picture of Whitey over my corner, the Bruce Sutter picture, and I just love this picture autographed by old Whitey. I would go to card shows, and Whitey was just such a nice guy, and he signed that for me. And that's Old Busch Stadium back there, because you can see the team's emblems right there. I got a media guide, and this is the 82 World Championship media guide. And of course, it's got Whitey in his manager uniform. He signed it right there, and then there he is being an executive making his deals back then. These media guides, that's how thin they were back in 82. These media guides are about that thick right now, with every statistic you can think of them on there. I love them. And my bobbleheads, of course. This is his bobblehead when he went in the Hall of Fame with the plaque. He's holding his plaque to the Hall of Fame right there, and it's got a Cooperstown thing on it. And then he was the very first player inducted to the St. Louis Cardinals Hall of Fame. And there's the bobblehead, and they get some sort of, I don't know what that is, some sort of Grammy award or something there. But Whitey, he'd show up. It was always on opening day, you get to see Lou and Bob, get to see Red and Stan and Whitey. So I don't know. Makes me kind of sad because that's just an era that's gone now. So
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Well, JJ, I am opening up Dondrus,
Woo!
featuring the Warren Span puzzle.
Oh,
Like about the Dondrus cards is on the outside, they don't have a date on these. I don't know what year it is until I open them up.
well, my
Makes my
goodness.
job very, very difficult. What are you opening up?
I have a surprise. I have the Topps Heritage cards. There's a special here's the actual pack. I got a pack of the 2024 Topps Heritage cards, and this has a special meaning to them, and I am tickled to death. This is a set I'm going to put together right here. So anyway, you want to go first?
Yeah, because you have the most interesting set. So it looks like these are 1989. 1989. And
All right.
this is Rinspa, which I assume is going to be Warren Spahn with the puzzles.
Yes, sir.
Former Twins pitcher, also pitched for the Tigers, Juan Berenguer. Very
Okay,
good.
I remember him. Big guy.
Yep. Diamond Kings, Mike Greenwell,
Oh, yes.
outfielder for the
10 seasons.
Hall of Famer, Fred McGriff, former Cub, the crime dog.
Right. I love the crime dog.
The pride of Centralia, Illinois, a very happy Italian third baseman, Gary Gaetti, who played for the
Hey,
Cubs, along with the Twins and the Royals and the Angels.
I think his nickname was the Rat or something like that. He had a nickname called the Rat.
I don't remember that, but not saying you're wrong. I don't remember that. Like I said, I don't remember anything anymore. Another Hall of Famer, catcher Gary Carter.
The kid. Yeah.
Go. Oh, this man won a Cy Young Award, and all it took him was some sandpaper and some petroleum jelly. Mike Scott for the Houston
Mike
Astros.
Scott. Split fingered fastball, nobody get hit. That thing would drop out.
Yeah. 14-8 this year on this particular 2.92 ERA. Huh. Guy who could have been a Hall of Famer, but decided that he didn't want to be, so he took a bunch of steroids. Rafael Palmeiro when he was with the Cubs. Ooh, in my mind, this is a Hall of Famer. I sure hope that he makes it someday. Center fielder for the Atlanta Braves, Dale Murphy, two-time MVP.
The great Dale Murphy.
Forgotten second baseman, was very productive, had some pop for the Giants. Rob Thompson.
Oh, yeah. I love that guy.
Another
Gritty.
guy should be in the Hall of Fame. And this, you could tell with this picture, this is before steroids, Barry Bonds, when he was just a freakish athlete at the time. In his days with the Padres, he's better known as a Philly, also played for the White Sox. John, I am not a crook.
I love Crookie.
My gosh, this is an awesome package.
Yeah, you got it. You got all-stars, man.
One of my favorite players who, if he wasn't for injuries, could have been one of the all-time greats, Eric Davis.
Red. When they got him and Strawberry, the Dodgers thought we got the World Series, and it just didn't work out that way.
Former All-Star closer, Steve Bedrosian.
Bedrock. Yes.
And then I got a regular card of Mike Scott. Look at him just cheating away on the mound.
Yeah.
Another Hall of Famer.
All right.
Osborne Smith.
Oh, Ozzy.
What an awesome pack. This is
That is an awesome pack.
Yeah. So
well, Vince, this Heritage Pack 2024, Topps has outdone themselves. My favorite year ever in baseball cards is the 1975 Topps cards. Everybody knows that. He knows me. Love the 75s. It's nostalgic for me. The set's beautiful. It's kind of like back in the 70s when they used a lot of color and even on the cartoons and commercials and stuff, just kind of a lot of pizzazz. So this is what the 75 cards look like. Here's a Mel Stoudemire with the Yankees, the great Mel Stoudemire. I got these in little sleeves, so you're going to see price tags on them. A very young Jose Cruz with the Houston Astros right there. This is the Cubs team card in 1975. So you're kind of getting the idea. They're two-tone. And I'll show you one more. Dodger Willie Crawford. So those are actual 1975 cards. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the Heritage cards this year are replicas of the 75s, but they're the current players, and every once in a while sprinkled in them are Hall of Famers. You know, they kind of honor them. So starting off, we have the Guardians, Shane Bieber right there. I love it. The only difference is it's got this little emblem right there that says Heritage, but that's a nice looking card. I mean, the pictures are probably even better than the 70s, but they're the exact replica of how the cards looked. Here we go, man. The Mets, Brandon Nemo. Look at that card. That's my favorite Mets jerseys, those pinstripes. I like those Met pinstripes. Who else we got here? This kid here with the Pirates, man, he's lighting it up. Jack Sawinski of the Pirates.
Hit a grand slam yesterday.
Oh, did he? I'm telling you what, he's Chicago. He's unsung. Oh, he's from Chicago too. That name sounds like a Chicago name right there.
Yeah.
Okay, somebody I do not know. Maybe you know him. Tigers Reese Olson. I don't know him.
I don't either.
Now, what the great thing is, back then when they had batting leaders, because I love the leader cards, Here they are, and it's Diaz and Arise, but it's in that 75 classic style. And then when you turn the card over, it'd be the top 10 hitters for that particular year. So I love that. That is so cool. Oh my gosh. Hall of Famer right here. And I'll point it out, but Dodgers, Mookie Betts. And it's even got the All-Star card. You got every position, each league has an All-Star card, and there's Mookie Betts right there. And they have him being an outfielder. As you know, he plays shortstop and second base too. Oh, nasty Nestor Cortez from the Yankees. Great picture right there. Look at that. He don't smile. He's too nasty.
Did you see that pitch he threw a few days ago?
He's always kicking his foot and like moving around.
This was like the weirdest hesitation, and it probably took him 3 seconds to throw the pitch. It was...
This kid is also an unsung hero, although everybody will know him soon. He's on that team, the Orioles, with such a star-studded lineup. Colton Crowder. This kid has really been lighting it up this early April here, and I know he's got quite a few home runs. And that Oriole team is stacked. I think all three of us, Max, me, and you, all picked him to do really good.
Yeah.
Eloy Jimenez, and I love these old White Sox uniforms. I remember when Greg Luzinski was on the team, Carlton Fisk, they would wear those White Sox uniforms. Oh, my goodness. Harrison Bader, Cincinnati Reds. There you go. And I'll turn it over. It's like the old days with all the baseball stats, and there's a cartoon, and it tells you a little bit about the player and everything. Now, this was not a part of the 75 cards. They have new age performers. I've never seen a card like this, and it's Max Scherzer right there. Mad Max. So that's new. Oh, you know what? We mentioned a player, we mentioned somebody on the show, and when we've opened cards, they always seem to pop up. And I swear, I just opened this pack. I didn't know this card was in there. Look at this. Kansas City Royals. Whitey Herzog. Very cool. Man, you ask for it, you get it. The white rat right there with Kansas City. Another one we mentioned, another Kansas City connection, Bobby Witt Jr.
There we go.
Looking cool with those shades. Mike Yastrzemski, Carl's grandson. He looks a lot like him.
Yes.
Yeah, baby, yes. And let's see. The last one right here is I like these because I'm a scrapbooker, and it really points out some of the big moments in the season. But here is World Series Game 5, the 2023 World Series. How about that right there?
Nice.
And they have the box scores on the back too. That's fantastic for sports fans. So I really highly recommend that, the 2024 Heritage Pack. I'm in love with them. And then you can get these special ones that have, like, you get all these packs and they have one giant card. Well, a friend of mine goes, JJ, I know some guys that would sell you some of their giant cards. I got a big Rod Carew. How about that? Corbin Carroll. You got old Corbin Carroll. I like that with the rookie thing there. The one, the only Mr. Lou Brock. Love that. This was my favorite card of the 75 pack, the Ted Simmons with the long hair right there.
Yeah.
Oh, that is bad to the bone. Joe Rudy, because I love those Oakland A's uniforms. And one last one I'll show you, a giant card of Catfish Hunter. Yeah, pretty cool. That you're great when you get your nickname put on your card, Catfish. You don't even have Jim Hunter put on there no more. So that's my cards. And Vince, if you would indulge me, can I go over our fantasy league real quickly for everybody?
Please do.
National League, 3 weeks in a row. The top dog is the Pittsburgh Pirates. They are dominating. And it's Dennis Rose from DeSoto, our Vietnam vet. Love the guy to death. He's 11-6. They stay in first place. But creeping up on them is the Cubs. That's Larry Wildy. The Pirates are 11-6, and the Cubs are 10-6. And then in the middle of the pack, you got the Padres, which is Robbie, and the Cardinals, Kevin Lee. They dropped from 3 to 4. The Nationals, Tom Ajay, stays at the 5th spot, and the Rockies 4-13. Brandon Schmidt. So poor Brandon, and it's the crappy Colorado Rockies. So staying at the top, Dennis Rose, but the Cubs are making it a little uncomfortable with him, a half game behind him. That's Larry Wildy. Over in the American League, every week we have a different team at the top. First week it was the Tigers, Tony Pruno. They were kicking butt and taking names. The second week they slipped down to number 2, and the Red Sox jumped up there, which is Ray Hartman. But this week we got I feel like Casey Kasem. This week the new #1 song in the nation is the Kansas City Royals. And me and Vince are on the Kansas City train. The Royals are 11-6, the same record as the Pirates, and it's some schmo named Brody Jackson. So look out. He's in first place right now. The Tigers have climbed still in number 2. The Red Sox have dropped to number 3. And then Candy Burks, who's probably the most animated person about this fantasy league. I hear from her every single day. The Angels won. Trout hit a home run. She didn't even know who Mike Trout was at the beginning of the year. She's so excited. I got her some Mike Trout cards to give to her. She's a big Mike Trout fan now. They're 8-8, holding the 4th spot. Seattle Mariners with Andrew Gieselman, the beer man from the Cardinals. I hope that don't get him fired rooting for the California Angels. And finally, in last place, the Chicago White Sox at 2-14. Dan Rutledge, boom, you're in last place, my friend.
Dan, you need to have a talk with your boys. Sit them down and say, this is not acceptable.
Turn them tables over.
Yeah.
No team meals.
Yeah, throw that food spread around. Ban energy drinks from the locker room. No more spitting sunflower seeds. Where's Morgana the kissing Danda when we need her?
Get her out there. What would Bill Beck do?
Well, JJ, I hope you have a good week.
You too, sir.
Good luck to the Cardinals, and I hope we have good luck too. And I hope we both have good news to report next week, because it's been a little down with all the deaths this week. So.
Oh my gosh. And Bush, I hope he hits 10 in a row. I'm pulling for that kid, man. Make history.
All right. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.